Dude, man, awesome. Oh, I just went like down a rabbit hole of all your fights within the last few hours, and I watched the one live in March against Hasegawa. You know, the leg kick, right hand knockout. And
Nice.
my question to you is with the vet. We might as well just get into this because I live in Sydney and ONE Championship is huge here. You know, they televise it, and with the Brandon Vera, you know, American, he wanted to, you know, he came into the octagon challenging you. I wanted to ask you, has there ever been a three-way champ? Because if you guys fought at heavyweight,
Yeah, there hasn't been a three division champ.
would you fight him at heavyweight or light heavyweight?
It's supposed to be for light heavyweight, but you know, realistically, I would like both belts to be on the line because you know it's a 3-day weigh-in for ONE Championship. So we'll both weigh in at light heavyweight, and then we'll both weigh in at heavyweight, and we'll make. That's what I'm thinking. You know, why should only my belt be on the line? If I just knock him out, why should only my belt be on the line? Why can't both of our belts be on the line? You know, it makes more sense.
You put them in 225 on the dot. That's both weight classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey, have you traveled to Myanmar?
I have not. I have not been fortunate enough to sit on that 24-hour flight with these guys.
I mean, the reason why I'm asking is I'm sure you watch the events, but because so Dave, you know, he lives in Yangon. He's become a buddy of mine, and it's only like I think 8 hours from Sydney. The electricity when you fight, man, I watched the fight against the African guy where like he looked I got his name here. The guillotine dude, where he looked like he was 3 weight classes above you.
Yeah, I mean, he was short though. He was very
short?
Yeah.
Short and compact.
That crowd though, like as you, that's what it's one of the reasons why I love doing this because since I was a young kid, I've been fascinated with energy, like the energy of, you know, of maybe a famous DJ doing it in front of 20,000 people or a guy like yourself. Man, what's going through your head when you're
Have you seen that scene in, you know, Mad Max, like in where they're about to, you know, go at it? Like that's like the scene. They have those, you know, glow sticks. You see them like hitting the glow sticks, and like the crowd is crazy. Like people are taking their shirts off because it's like hot as hell there, and it's like hot, it's loud, and it's humid, and the energy is like insane. And you just gotta like calm yourself down before that.
How do you come back to normal life after an experience like that? Like you sitting in a North American house in Florida with Corey. Like talk about those adjustments. You know, I watched the documentary they did on you as well with, you know, your young family. It's following you around with your wife, and you see as a viewer and a fan of yours, you see this contrast of being a family man, the devotion for your family, but then being a just superstar in your country. Where is that? How is it tough to find that middle ground?
No, as soon as I board the flight, you know, from Qatar, it's back to normal. As soon as I get home, I have to change my kid's diaper, or I have to, you know, take care of my son. It becomes normal, you know. You're back to reality. It's like as soon as I board that plane from Qatar to Yangon, it's different because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, Burmese passenger and they go crazy, and like it's already starting. Like as soon as I land in Qatar and, you know, I board that plane, it's already starting. You know, that you know, frenzy, and you know that's all part of the game. It's gonna come a day when nobody knows me again, but you know, right now, like people follow me, and it's really cool, you know.
Yeah, you know, I always say what I think about it. You know, anybody that meets him is always, you know, that guy's a fighter. And you can tell by looking at him, but you know, he's so polite, he's so soft-spoken, he's a family man, he does this, he does that. And like you said, it's funny because that lasts all through camp. But I'll tell you, the second he leaves and gets on that flight, like our communication through WhatsApp, you can tell things change. You know, he doesn't swear a lot. He doesn't say a lot of things, but all of a sudden those text messages, you'll see a swear word here and there. You'll see that change, what he's going to do to this guy, and then really the second the fight's over, it's like, thank you, I'm going home.
Yeah. Corey, how did you and AUNG LA meet up? Like, how did you two team up?
So he was up in Baltimore. He owned his own gym, and it got to the point where, I mean, he's a 2-division world champion, and realistically didn't have a training camp. He didn't have a fight camp. He was just up there doing his own thing, running his own gym with a few training partners. He's brought 2 of his training partners from up there down here with us now. One just signed with Glory Kickboxing. The other one just signed with ONE FC and won his debut. And that was really it. You know, it was just looking for, you know, the biggest thing that I think that he and I had to really work on was this idea of how can we find a happy medium between these 2 weight classes? Because, you know, what I think he was having some trouble doing was when it was light heavyweight and we knew that that limit was 225, you know, he was shooting up to 225, 230, and it wasn't the weight that he needed to be successful. You know, we're finding out that for him, you know, when he's fighting that light heavyweight, he looks good at about 218, 219. That's his sweet spot. That's where he performs well. So I think that's kind of been the biggest thing that he and I have had to really figure out is how to change some of his muscle composition, how to increase muscle, how to decrease some of the body fat, but make it sustainable so that he can either make that climb to light heavyweight or make that drop down the middleweight. And, you know, we did that through laboratory testing. You know, Chris Algieri's been a big part of giving me advice because he's coached quite a few boxers that have had to jump up and down through weight classes as well. And, you know, it's in my mind, I don't think I think we still have so much room to continue growing, which is scary, but I think we've done a good job with it.
So the first time, like, you know, last year when I started working with Corey, like, it was very scientific. You know, the methods were very scientific, and like sometimes, like, I would work myself to the ground, and you know, he knows when to push me, and he also knows when to pull me back. You know, and that's the thing, like. I always thought like I had to work like I had to have that immigrant mindset and just work and work and work. But the truth is, you know, to be able to perform like an athlete, you have to know when to push and you have to know when to pull yourself back and then, you know, recover and rest. You know, that's the part that I didn't know. And that's, you know, a lot of it, you know, Corey's been helping me with even till now, you know, like recovering, resting, and then, you know, just coming back stronger. That's the part that I was missing, you know.
AUNG LA, how long?
First fight I did with Corey was at light heavyweight. You know, it was for the second belt, for the light heavyweight belt. And that's our first camp. And then our second camp was at middleweight, third camp was at middleweight, and also the fourth camp was at middleweight. Our next camp is also going to be at middleweight, you know, and then we're going to go up to light heavyweight again. And I believe, you know, I believe in his methods, and I believe that we're going to find that sweet spot when we fight Brandon Vera.
Dude, that's a beautiful thing, and that's what I was going to ask you next is that trust, AUNG LA. Like, how long did it take you when you met Corey to understand and believe in his systems? Because you were already a high-level fighter. It's like, how much more could he get out of you, and how long did it take you to trust him with his training?
You can see it from the results, you know. You can see it from the results, and you can see it from, like, from day one, like everything really made sense. You know, I'm a fighter, but I'm not a dumb person. No. I have a college degree, and everything he's doing made a lot of sense. And also, I trust Henri. You know, I trust Henri a lot, and Henri trusts Corey. So in that instance, like, you know, I put all my trust in Corey as well. As far as strength conditioning goes, like, all my trust is at Corey, and like if I have any questions, like I always go to him, and you know, he gives me the answers that I need as well. So.
Yeah, Corey, I'm a strength and conditioning coach as well down in Sydney. And I always, whenever I have questions or I need like different variations on performance, I go to Corey's, like, his content. And it's one of those things that I kind of hope that you don't get a huge following, Corey, because, but I tell you this all the time, every time I speak to you. I hope it'll have, you know, because your methodology is, like AUNG LA said, results speak for themselves. It's not like, you know, you're telling your fighters and your athletes to do something just on a whim. It's like, you know, you have evidence of why you should be doing this, when you should be doing this. So that's a beautiful thing regarding the relationship. Angla, I have stats in front of me, and I mean, some people love stats, some people don't. Your record in the ONE Championship, 11-1, but more importantly, 23 finishes out of 25 fights. I want to ask you, because there's kind of a stereotype with fighters, Asian fighters, with striking. The thing I love the most about you is your grappling, and like, where did you learn like your wrestling, your grappling, your submissions, going for necks? I mean, everybody knows about the power you possess in your kicks and your striking, but when did you start adding the grappling? Has this always been a thing for you since you were young?
No, it's always been a thing.
Okay.
If you look at me recently, you know, Henri's the one that worked on my striking. But prior to that, you know, I worked with a boxing coach, I worked with a striking coach, but I started off, you know, with jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
If you watch my fight with like Uriah Hall, you know, it was because I depended too much on my jiu-jitsu, you know, and that was a problem. Like I shouldn't have, you know. And again, like my back gets all jacked up because of the fights that I took early on in my career, you know. But I can strike, I can grapple, I can wrestle, you know, and that's why like I love Hard Knocks 365 because it's got the best like wrestling coaches, and it's got the best striking coaches. So you're well-rounded. You know, you can take people down and you can strike, and that's why I love like my team, and it's a perfect fit for me. You know, I like to look. I don't like to play for points. I like to play for, you know, to finish people. I don't go out there to win. I go out there to finish people. You know, I go out there to break people, and I go out there to, you know, finish fights, to excite the fans. That's the reason why, you know, I compete. The day that I want to start just winning by points is the day that I'm gonna stop fighting.
Corey, let's talk about lessons, because the first time we sat down a couple years ago, that show I used to host was based all about personal development and lessons through adversity. Now,
Sure.
you having so much experience with fighters, you meeting AUNG LA and seeing, maybe I'm wrong, man, Corey, but I used to think before I moved to Australia that the UFC was the top of the food chain, and it still is. But I used to think maybe through the marketing, there weren't any competitors. I come down to Australia where ONE FC, they have a larger following, they have more viewers, and, you know, a lot of lighter fighters, like the kid who fought DJ. I mean, that kid could have won that fight. He was amazing. Yuya Wakamoto. My question to you is, lessons learned maybe through your experience coaching AUNG LA, and as the sport of MMA is evolving, maybe share some of those with us.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the big thing that you said is exactly this. There's so much talent out there in the world now, and I'm open to that. You know, I've been fortunate enough to coach AUNG LA, and then Martin Nguyen came and did his last camp with us as well. He's a Sydney guy, by the way.
I talk to him all the time. Our schedules they keep crossing, but he's going to come on as well. He lives right by me.
Yeah, you know, so he just defended his title, nasty low flying knee. You know, the biggest thing that I'm seeing with these guys is this. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say who's better, who's worse, who's this, who's that. But, you know, in my mind, we have former world champions at middleweight in the UFC inside of our gym. You know, we have the 170 world champion, Kamaru Usman, right now. And, you know, we have we have Michael Chandler from Bellator. We have AUNG LA, Martin, ONE FC.
Jesus.
You want to talk about competition. I mean, this competition's even straight across the board. That's the thing that opens my eyes to it, where if I had to step out as just a fan and sit here and watch, these are all my guys. I'm not going to call out who would win or lose, but I'm telling you this, it would be competitive, regardless of organization, where they're from, where they're fighting. These guys at the top level of that ONE FC, of Bellator, of UFC, they're all the same. You know, in my mind, they're all the same thing. It's just a matter of what worked out for them financially and those kind of things that helped shape their decisions of where they ended up fighting.
Do you think we'll ever see guys cross-promotional fights like AUNG LA taking on Robert Whittaker at middleweight? Like, or, you know what I'm saying?
I hope so.
See that.
That would be cool. I would love to see that too.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I was just in Sydney too, like earlier this year, to visit Martin.
Were you down there?
Yeah, he said Robert Whittaker lived like real close to him too.
And they've never trained together. I was like, wait, why are you guys?
Yeah.
You guys are like 10 miles apart. You don't train. He's like, he said that Sydney scene of MMA is so spread out, even though it's like there's not a lot, but it's spread.
Yeah, and it's very dogmatic too in the coach. I'm sure you guys see it in anything, but the coaching methodologies of don't train at this camp, they don't teach this sort of thing. Don't train at that camp, they're just winging it. But I agree. Like how is Martin and Robert not training together? And there's a lot of fighters though that are in the Sydney area that I mean, look at the hotbed you guys have in South Florida though. Could you do you guys ever get like a gala night where those gyms are training against each other?
Well, and that's the thing. I can speak on it from my perspective. You've had Phil Daru on your show. He's 20 miles away, and American Top Team is the enemy, whatever the case might be. Come on, if I'm not using him as a resource to help me get better at what I'm doing, I'd be stupid. You know what I mean? He's over there coaching, in my mind, same level staple of elite athletes as I am, dealing with a lot of the things that I have to deal with on a daily basis, coaching multiple fighters at that highest level. And like, if I just cut that off, like, oh, I'm not talking to that gym, I'd be stupid not to be able to try back. And, I can't speak for the fighters. They got their loyalties, their teammates and stuff like that. But you see people, especially Henri. I think Henry's very much receptive and open arms to anybody that wants to come down and be respectful and train. I mean, that's like his big thing. If you want to come into my gym, we will be respectful. We will treat you right. You just have to train hard. And I mean, I feel like he has a policy for really anybody that would come down.
Aung La, were you disrespected or were you honored after your last fight when Vera called you out?
I'm fine. I kind of expected it, Yeah. I don't see it as a disrespect. Okay. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty chill, But when the cage closed, it's a different story. But I'm it's a good opportunity for both of us.
It's been on the radar, I think, since I've met you. I think we've very much known that this is going to be something that happens. Yeah. And I think that's why we've really put a focus on being able to adapt our training to both weight classes and figuring out where he's at his very best physically.
Aung La, you're disciplined in a lot of different martial arts. I mean, mixed martial artist. What is your personal favorite to do? And are you ever at odds with yourself in a fight of not relying too much on one style?
No, like I can do it all, But I like to stand. I like to, stand up and put on a show. I like to get punched and
that's his defense.
I like to get punched in the face and then I like to give them back, So I like to keep it standing, but it's where I fight smart for what I have, for the tools that I have, and if my allows you to, grapple with you, I'll grapple with you. If I feel like your skill set is, on your feet, then I'll grapple with you. But the main thing is I'm there to finish and put on exciting fights for the fans.
So what does Leduc mean to you?
Leduc is what we do, what Burmese people do. It's not Leduc, it's Leduc.
I've heard it pronounced Leduc.
No. Just hear it from a guy that's from Burma.
I want to hear it so I can.
How do I pronounce it?
Leduc.
Leduc.
Yeah, Leduc.
Leduc.
It's what we do. Like from since we were kids, we know how to punch and kick. Yeah, we know how to punch and kick. And that's like I don't know why Leduc is not as popular as Muay Thai. And it's probably because Myanmar is not well known in Thailand. It's not as open as Thailand, but there's no reason why Leduc shouldn't be as popular as Muay Thai. Leduc is what we do. It's like every kid in Myanmar knows how to punch and kick and headbutt people. So,
yeah, that's a huge. Yep.
And that's why Myanmar fans are real like combat sport fans. They love combat sports,
No, it's they just signed with the UFC Fight Pass. Did you see that? With
WLC. Yeah, that's awesome.
WLC. It's awesome. It's a great platform. You know, it's a great platform, and I think both parties are going to benefit. You know, and I hope it brings more popularity. You know, to it's like bare knuckle boxing here, right? Except it has kicks, and you get to knee people in the head. You get to headbutt people. It's awesome. And 6 to 12 elbows legal.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, they were like for years. You know, this experts, like you've heard Joe Rogan talk about it, you've heard George St. Pierre talk about it. Like true combat wouldn't have gloves on because then you would have to be more technical with your striking. You wouldn't be able to throw such crazy kind of punches without consequences of breaking your hands. So I'm a purist. I'd love to see that on a bigger. You should have saw my face. I only heard of Leduc last year. My roommate's a Muay Thai fighter, and he told me about Dave Leduc and Tintin Moon, and I'm like, what? What is? There's a sport there. It's Muay Thai, but you can throw the headbutt. So ever since I learned about it, it's like my favorite sport.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, man. I'm sitting here. I'm learning a lot of stuff about these guys as well. You know, he's the one that introduced me to that. Our other, the other guy from Miramar, Teal, he talks about this tribal wrestling that he grew up in. The thing where it reminds me of like sumo wrestling, the way he describes it, except it's like close. I mean, you can explain it more.
Yeah, it's like Mongolian wrestling. So his tribe is the Chin tribe, and they have this traditional wrestling, you know, and they wear like it's like a longi, it's like almost like a skirt kind of thing, and you have to grab and you have to grapple, you have to take the opponent down. So that's also an art, you know. These guys are from the mountain, the Chin hills, and these guys have their own martial art, not martial art, but their own wrestling, you know, form of wrestling. Yeah. And like a lot of the tribes have their own martial art. That's a cool thing about Myanmar, you know.
I love Chinlone. Am I pronouncing that right?
Chinlone, yeah, Chinlone. Chinlone. It's like a
Corey.
Right? Like, what is Chinlone? I don't know what that is.
It's the sport that's like a mix of soccer, volleyball. They're doing the cartwheel kicks.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The Chinlone. In Myanmar, it's called Chinlone. Yeah, it's like it's made with a bamboo. It's a ball made with a bamboo, and like it's you have to kick it across. You have to kick it across the net, and it's kind of like volleyball, but they play with their feet and their head. And sometimes you can use your shoulders as well.
Could you do a cartwheel kick on it, Angla? No?
Yeah, heavy legs.
No, man, I'm like abnormally big for a Burmese guy.
Yeah, how tall are you?
6'1".
Okay. Damn. Where's your most comfortable fighting weight, man? You're like they made you in a lab. You could fight at middle, light, and heavyweight.
Most comfortable middle. I feel like my power is still there, and you know I can take any shots from a middleweight.
Yeah, I have a bunch of words written down. You're an interesting dude, man. Like beekeeper.
Yeah, I used to work as a beekeeper, like a migratory beekeeper after college for like a year and a half.
What degree? Agriculture?
Agriculture science, yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Corey, you know he lived in Michigan.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew it was in Michigan and Baltimore.
Yeah. Corey and I are both from Ohio, and in America, we grew up in like 40 minutes away. Ohio and Michigan have this weird rivalry. So when I saw that you spent time in Michigan, I was like, man, synchronicity. Yeah. It's fitting.
Yeah. Michigan. Ohio's worse than Michigan, though.
No, get out of here.
Dude, did you get a chance to go to any football games, Angla, when you were in Michigan?
No. I've never seen a single what's that football game?
You've never been in a football game?
No.
Wait,
listen.
You guys got to go to the big house. You have to see an Ohio State Michigan game.
Super Bowl. I've never seen a Super Bowl since I've been here for how many years? Like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So now I University of Miami. I think I'm gonna take him down there and let him pick up one of those.
Talk about energy. So right? Culture is a big thing. I've been in Australia for 6 years, and the people, for the most part, people think that because the language is English, we speak the same language, and we kind of look alike. It's a different world. So I struggled with coming to a country that actually I speak the language. At least their vernacular. It was tough for me for about a year. AUNG La, talk about some of the cultural differences when you first moved to America that you struggled with and that you actually enjoyed.
So here's the thing, right? When I come to America, like they always make it like it's heaven. Like in Myanmar, they always make it seem like heaven, and they make it seem everything like so much nicer, right? So when I got to my dorm, I looked at the bed and I was like so disappointed. I was like, holy crap, look at these mattresses. These mattresses are so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, look at these sinks. They're so bad. In our head, we thought America, it's going to be like heaven. It's going to be like the best thing I've ever seen. But our dorm room, and I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so sad. Like I was like really, I went through like a little bit of depression when I got to my dorm.
He thought it was going to be like the MGM Grand, and he walks in there and gets a 10 by 10 fucking squared up dorm room.
Because in Myanmar, they hype America like it's heaven, you know. So I was like, wow, I was so disappointed.
Yeah. How about the food? Do you enjoy the food, or do you not like it?
No, I like the food. So I went to KFC and I said, can I have chicken, and can I have it with rice? So I went to KFC. Yeah, because in Asia they do that. They looked at me, are you crazy?
Yeah.
It comes with biscuit, not with rice. I was like, are you serious? I can't get it with rice? This is in Michigan.
Yeah. Are you boys? So is that fight signed? Because I'm trying to find these websites. October. Did you sign that fight, or are you looking to fight in October?
There's a card in October in Japan. There's a card in Japan in October, and that's when he wants to fight me because he's doing a movie role.
Okay. What do you think of that?
Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wait for a movie role. I'm gonna do another middleweight fight.
Before that.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple things before I let you boys go. It's Good Friday where you guys are, and thanks for doing this once again. But AUNG La, Street School Initiative and Global Citizen.
Street School Initiative. That's so we have this program in Myanmar. It's so cool, like because there's a lot of child laborers, right? I'm not going to use the term child laborer, but they're kids that worked at tea shops. They work at any stores, just to make a little extra money for their family. So they don't get to go to school. So for them, we have, during the off hours or during when it's not like when after lunchtime, when there's not many customers, we have like a bus that takes them and teaches them, educates those kids. So the kids have the opportunity to be educated and to learn, And that's a really good program. That's a really good program, and I'm working with them, and I'm going to continue working with them.
Excellent.
I feel like education is like the thing that neutralizes, poverty. So, and global citizen is the head, like the head branch that we work with, in ONE Championship. They have projects in Philippines, not so many in Myanmar, but they have. It's all over. It's all over where ONE Championship is, in Singapore and mostly in Philippines, though. I don't know too much about the projects in Singapore, but the mobile, school program is part of them as well.
Corey, man, dude, like always, I know time's fleeting. I got to run as well. I really appreciate you doing this with me, introducing me to AUNG La, and it's awesome to see you with an athlete of yours together, to see that sort of camaraderie and that bond, because I know you're a great dude and you're doing great things, man. I'm always cheering for you. Oh,
the performance here.
All right, and let's plug that. Where can we pick that up? Talk about the Peacock Performance Physiology, and then AUNG La, you talk about where the people listening to this could follow you at as well, both of you boys.
I mean, for me, I don't do a great job with social media, so just go to Dr. C Peacock. You can find my stuff. Peacock Performance as well. You can see a lot of my clients' upcoming fights. We got a lot of fights coming up, man. We got Saul Rogers, Derek Brunson, Danny Roberts, Nick Lentz, Desmond Green, Vulcan, AUNG. I also have Demetrius Andrade, middleweight, WBO middleweight champ boxing. Actually just texted me. He's just landed down in Florida, so we're going to get started here on Monday. Algieri's going to be fighting again as well. And it just never stops. Also have the Fight Science Institute. Check out that at Fight Science Institute or fightscienceinstitute.com. We're going to be planning our next seminar in July, late July, down here. It'll be on my home turf in Fort Lauderdale. We're actually going to hold it at Nova Southeastern University, where I teach as well. So that'll be myself, Bill DeRue, Tony Ricci, who's head strength and conditioning coach up at Law, or Longo Weidman, and then Michael Camp, who does all of the physical therapy and sports medicine up there at Longo Weidman. We're also going to have Jose Antonio, who you know, Dr. Jose Antonio. ISSN. He's going to be kind of our keynote speaker, speaking more on the lines of developing business in this field of health, wellness, nutrition, strength and conditioning, and how to be successful doing so. So a little twist away from the combat sports, but more entrepreneurial advice, which I think will be great. And that's pretty much it for me.
You can follow me on Instagram. It's AUNG LA NSANG, same as on Facebook. There's a fan page as well, and Twitter.
Awesome, boys. I'll put those links in the show notes as well, so people could just click on them and follow you guys. Man, I can't thank both of you enough. AUNG LA, man, you have a big fan here, and I can't wait to introduce everyone who don't know who you are to AUNG LA NSANG. And Corey, you're a beast, man. I appreciate you.
Always, Johnny. Appreciate it, buddy. Take care.
Have a good one.
All right, man.